Have you ever smiled while you were falling apart inside, held it together all day, only to collapse in the dark? Told someone, "It's all good," while your chest felt like a pressure cooker? This video is not for the version of you that performs. It's for the version that hides in the silence after. The version that wonders, how long can I keep this up? Carl Jung believed we all wear a persona, a psychological mask shaped by what we believe is acceptable to others. And while it helps us function in society, when it becomes our default mode, we begin to lose access to our truth. We begin to perform okayness, even when everything inside us is screaming for help. But here's the problem. Pretending drains energy. Pretending fractures the psyche. Pretending disconnects you from your emotional core. And the cost of pretending isn't just burnout. It's forgetting how to feel. You become so used to numbing, deflecting, minimizing, and managing appearances that even when someone offers you real connection, you can't receive it. Your nervous system doesn't recognize safety anymore. It only recognizes silence. This is why so many people feel alone in rooms full of people. This is why success feels hollow. This is why "I'm fine" becomes the biggest lie you tell. But healing begins the moment you stop lying, not to others, to yourself. Jung warned us that what we repress doesn't disappear. It grows stronger in the unconscious. And the more we push away our truth, the more it finds its way back to us in symptoms: exhaustion, irritability, emotional numbness, sudden outbursts, sleepless nights, chronic tension. All of it is the voice of your soul saying, "Stop pretending." But society rewards the mask. You get praised for being resilient, even when you're dying inside. You get admiration for always showing up, even when you're falling apart. You get validation for handling it all, while you silently carry what no one sees. So you keep performing, until one day the cost is too high. And that day comes in a whisper, not a scream. You forget how to laugh, not politely, but fully. You stop feeling safe in your own skin. You lose your ability to cry. You lose your ability to rest. You lose your ability to be held, because you've trained yourself never to need it. And in that moment you realize, pretending to be fine doesn't make you stronger. It makes you a stranger to yourself. That's when the work begins, not in doing more, but in undoing what was never real, in peeling off the persona and meeting the parts of you who've been begging to be seen. Let's talk about the moment you decided to start pretending. It wasn't a conscious choice. It was survival. Maybe you were a child who saw that crying made adults uncomfortable, so you learned to hold it in. Maybe you were punished for being too sensitive, so you hardened. Maybe no one ever asked how you felt, only what you achieved, so you performed. And that inner child, who only wanted to be held, started building walls. Walls made of logic. Walls made of humor. Walls made of silence. But every wall blocks both danger and love. Jung said, "We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. That means no matter how far you run, your truth will follow you. The sadness, the rage, the grief, the desire. It waits patiently, not to hurt you but to liberate you, because your feelings are not enemies. They are messengers. Pretending is how you lost your compass. Honesty is how you get it back. So how do we start? Begin with the smallest truth you've been avoiding. The truth that feels tender, not terrifying. The one that says I'm tired. The one that whispers I need help. The one that says I'm scared and I don't want to be alone in this. You don't need to scream it from rooftops. Just admit it to yourself. That's the first act of inner alignment. Because until you stop pretending, you can't begin healing. And until you begin healing, you can't truly live. Now that you've named the truth, it's time to hold it, with care, not control. Jung believed that true healing doesn't come from fixing the psyche, it comes from integrating it. And integration means making space for all of you, even the parts you were taught to hide. So here's a practice. Mirror work, but with emotion, not affirmation. Each morning before the world gets loud, stand in front of a mirror. Not to fix your hair, not to repeat mantras, but just to look. Look into your own eyes and ask, how do I actually feel today? Then pause. Wait. Let the answer rise not from your mouth, but from your body. If the answer is sad, don't change it. If it's angry, don't solve it. If it's numb, don't judge it. Just witness. Why? Because what is witnessed with compassion no longer needs to scream. Most of your pretending isn't malicious. It's unconscious. It's a reflex to protect the parts of you that didn't feel safe to be felt. But when you feel those parts on purpose, you reclaim power. You become the safe space you were searching for. You become your own sanctuary. You don't need to collapse. You just need to stop betraying your inner world. And that starts with honesty, not dramatic confession, not spiritual performance, just quiet, persistent self-truth every day. That's how pretending ends, not in one breakthrough moment, but in hundreds of gentle ones. Now let's talk about what happens when you stop pretending and start living from your emotional truth. At first, it's terrifying. You'll feel raw, exposed, vulnerable. People might say, you've changed, you're too emotional, you're not like you used to be. And they'll be right, because you're no longer performing to be palatable. You're no longer twisting yourself into a version that fits other people's comfort. You're no longer hiding in your own life. This discomfort is sacred. It's your nervous system recalibrating from decades of suppression. It's your body learning that truth is not danger. So when it happens, don't backpedal. Breathe through it. Journal through it. Dance through it. Cry through it. But don't go back to pretending. The more you tell the truth internally and externally, the more aligned your life becomes. You'll stop attracting relationships based on your mask. You'll stop working jobs that reward numbness. You'll stop spending energy maintaining illusions. Instead, you'll begin building from the real. And the real, while sometimes messy, is always alive. Jung would say, you do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This is what you're doing now. You are becoming conscious. And that, my friend, is power. So where do we go from here? You've stopped pretending. You've named the truth. You've held it without judgment. You've honored the younger version of you who thought hiding was safety. You've chosen to come home to the most honest parts of yourself. This journey doesn't end in perfection. It ends in presence. You won't always get it right. Sometimes the mask will slip back on. Sometimes the I'm fine will escape your lips. Sometimes you'll want to shrink to fit again. But now you'll notice. Now you'll pause. Now you'll return sooner. And that's everything. Healing is not the absence of struggle. It's the refusal to abandon yourself in it. Carl Jung taught us that what you deny in yourself becomes your fate. So today, you've chosen a different fate. One where your truth is not a liability. It's your compass. One where your pain isn't hidden. It's integrated. One where your energy doesn't leak through performance, but radiates through presence. This is what it means to reclaim your wholeness. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be real. And realness is rare. But it's the beginning of everything your soul has been aching for. So tonight, when the world is quiet, ask yourself, where did I pretend today? What truth did I betray? What truth can I honor tomorrow? And then forgive yourself. Not for pretending, but for believing that you had to. What's one way you've been pretending lately? And what truth are you finally ready to own?